Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to the Inspiration Trilogy podcast, a platform for women across the globe to come together and share wisdom, advice, and just have some meaningful conversations. So today's guest is Mei Situ, who's a beautiful woman who's travelled a very interesting path. You're a psychology student, and today you'll be discussing near-death experiences and your knowledge and experience around this. So welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for having me, Mireka. Hello, everyone. Nice meeting you all.
Look, it's great to have you on. I think today's topic is such an important topic to get out there and to, I guess, share some more knowledge around it. So, for listeners out there, could you tell us a little bit firstly about yourself and your journey and how you got to where you are?
Well, I'm a psychology student. I am a mom of three beautiful and equally annoying kids. I always, I'm telling the truth. I'm always interested in studying psychology, but I did not have the confidence to do it many years ago. And it was during COVID, I realized life was too short to just be afraid of doing things and not giving a go. So I thought, okay, I'm going to do it. And now I'm in the last semester of completing the degree.
Oh, that's awesome. So I understand from previous conversations that we've had that you, like myself, have had your own near-death experience, which we'll delve into shortly. But firstly, in your own words, what is a near-death experience?
It's a very, very good question. And I
Yes.
found this question difficult to answer. It's
Mm.
because it's such a personal, subjective, unique experience. Not everyone touched by death would have it. And I can't really say that, your near-death experience, because it's different to mine or different to my understanding of it. I
Yeah,
can't say that because it's unique.
it's quite complex and unique.
Yes.
So that is
Yes.
a hard question. So look, I guess what are from your experience and your research and whatnot, what are the common features of near death that you've seen from your studies?
I think the most reported near-death experiences are positive. Common features or themes include like the soul leaving the bodies, going through or flying through darkness or a tunnel, and then they will see light, they will see angels. Some people would see God or godlike figures, or they will just see beings, or they don't see them at all. Having said that, according to Bush and Grayson, who are the experts of studying this phenomenon, said that 1 in 5 reported near-death experiences are negative and can be quite distressing and scary. And
Yeah.
this is something that we don't really get to hear a lot.
Yeah. Do you think perhaps it's distressing because they may not previously have been, I guess, open to a greater, I don't quite know how to explain it, a greater entity or what have you? Do you think that's perhaps their lack of or their minimal knowledge of that might make it more frightening to them because they find it hard to comprehend what they've been through?
I'm not really sure, and that is the area that I really would like to study, but for me, like for example, both of us had near-death experiences.
Yeah.
And if you tell me your experiences is all wonderful, all godlike, all divine, then I have a very distressing negative one. I'm not going to tell you because I would be so afraid that you're going to judge me.
Yeah.
Well, having a positive near-death experience doesn't really mean that you are a good person. I'm
Yeah.
sure both of
I didn't mean to delve into sort of good or bad person. I just meant
yeah.
your understanding of the greater whatever it is that's out there.
Yeah. I totally get that.
Yeah,
Like all having a negative one doesn't necessarily mean that the person is a bad person. So
yeah,
yeah, I really would like to learn more about, um, the negative experiences and how it
yeah.
impacts on people. So if I learn something new, I'll share with you.
So there might be a follow-up podcast here.
Would love
Look,
to.
it is a fascinating subject. I know a lot of people are interested in it, and like you mentioned, and I mentioned, we have both had our own near-death experiences. I have mentioned it in the past, but I haven't delved in, I guess, into great detail about my own experience. But it was very positive. It was just beautiful. Um, so, so what was your experience when you had your near-death experience, and what I guess happened leading up to what caused that as well?
First of all, I really don't know what causes it. Like, I don't know whether it's something to do with the medication or the trauma. I really don't know. I'm not a medical doctor, and this is something, like I say, I need to investigate further. Um, com well, compared to many near-death experiences I have read, mine is rather basic and simple. So I'm jealous. You have a very like splendid experiences.
Yeah, well, anyway, if you'd like to elaborate, that would be, I don't think, I'm sure it's not basic, it's just, it's different and unique. Everybody has their different experiences, like we've said, so.
Yes, thank you. Yes, so I had a brain operation 23 years ago, and everything went really well. I was discharged from the hospital, and at that time I was resting and uh, recovering from a very beautiful friend's home, and my mom was there. And one night I just went to bed, and well, I woke up because my soul was leaving my body, and I was fully aware of that, and I knew that I was dead. I just knew that I was dead,
Yeah.
and I was really frightened because I was so worried that my mom and the beautiful friend find out what next morning when they opened the door and they saw my dead
Oh,
body there,
yeah.
how would they cope? And I could not even leave a word with them. But I knew that for certain I was already dead. And I was trying to move, trying to do anything, trying to scream for help. And I thought, I keep saying to myself, oh, it must be a nightmare. Wake up, wake up, wake up, all that. But at the same time, I knew it wasn't. I could not explain it. My mind was crystal clear. And so my soul was keep rising. All I could feel was it just get further away from my body.
Mm,
And then it stopped. And then it was flying at the speed of light. All I could see was complete darkness. And I had no idea how long I was flying for, um, until suddenly I saw this astonishing white light. And as soon as I saw the white light, I felt this intense, unspeakable peace and joy. Like, I don't have the word for it.
yeah.
I could not come up with the right word in English or in my first language, which is Chinese. And I felt all my worries, all my anxieties, everything was washed away. And I was so grateful to be dead.
Yeah, yeah.
and
I can totally relate.
and I didn't see God, I didn't see angel, but I saw a lot of being. They didn't have a physical body, but I knew there were a lot of beings there, and they were gathering as if they were having a meeting or having a discussion. And I was really curious. I wasn't afraid. I was like, oh, what's happening? And then a few beings saw me, and I think one of them were male. Like, that's how I felt.
Mm,
And they spoke, well, they communicated telepathically.
yes, yeah.
And I heard them saying that, why are you here? It's not your time yet. You shouldn't be here. And one of them pushed me. And then the next second, I knew I was back in my body. And I could feel that my soul just got sucked right in and went right back to my body through here.
Yeah.
And I woke up, I sat on the bed. Instead of feeling grateful that I am back, I felt so mad and angry because that was very rude of him. How dare he send me back? And I was so curious to find out what they were talking about. What is all this?
Yeah.
And for the whole night, I was so cranky.
Oh, that's so funny. It's such, I love hearing your story, and I can relate to so many elements of it. For the listeners out there, I'll just delve very quickly into mine. I'll just do a brief version. I won't go into too much detail, but I had a major car accident. That's how mine, I guess, it started. So we hit a tree going about 90 k's an hour. We rolled the car. I hit my head right here where the third eye is, cracked my skull from here to here. So I had sort of blood, I guess, going onto my brain. I tore my spleen and everything else. I had quite a few injuries. I had all my very deep lacerations on my face, glass everywhere. But I remember the start of it, it was like a beautiful dream. I've had a lot of flying dreams in the past, and I think probably because I had injury, I had severe head trauma. But I didn't really recognise it as being that place, I guess. So I remember sort of, it was a little bit dark initially, and then I sort of noticed I was like at the top of the canopy of trees, and we had the accident in a jungle type area. And I remember looking down, I'm like, God, there's nobody here. And then I had this influx of souls. And I remember seeing my great aunt, the couple, I've lost 2 children, but they were kind of see-through. They didn't really have bodies from the torso down. I knew they were spirits and they were coming to welcome me. And it was like all my ancestors, and it was amazing. So my brother passed away around 20 years ago now. And he kind of came behind me. I didn't know at the time it was him, which was his whole point of going behind me. And so he guided me back to where the accident was, because I'd kind of flown off a bit. And he said, look, you need to make a decision. Your family's waiting there for you. They're ready to greet you and have this big party that you're here and all this kind of thing. But have a look down there. And I could see the face of my partner at the time. And he was so distressed, obviously, because they couldn't wake me up. They thought I had passed. And he was under so much stress. And he said, look, do you really want to see how much stress he's under? Do you really want to leave him like that? And your family back home needs you. And I could hear a siren. And he said to me, do you hear that? And I said, yeah, I do. He goes, that's for you. You need to make a decision now. And then I said, well, this is a short version, of course. I was umming and ahhing what to do. And then he said, look, it's not your time. You need to go back. And the same as you, he kind of pushed me back. And I had it was just pure white light. And then I was sort of back in my body. But the feeling, like you said, is inexplainable. It's pure. Oh, I'm getting shivers. Pure relief and euphoria, and you just, like, it's very hard to put it into words, and it just felt so good. I didn't want to wake up. I'm like, and they were kind of shaking me. And when I came to, I couldn't really see anything. I could see just here. I couldn't hear anything. It all sort of came back very slowly. But because I had a severe brain trauma, I lost 70% of my memory. There was all these complications. I had to sort of train my brain again. It took 3 years for my brain to get fully back to normal. So during my recovery, because my brain was not really coping with understanding, I guess, basic things, I've struggled to understand the experience that I had. And I'm not sure if they resuscitated me. I'm not sure exactly what happened, but at the same time, it was so beautiful. I believe so wholeheartedly in spirit. I've had many experiences, so it wasn't frightening to me. But I guess it was so beautiful. I thought, can this really be true? This is just, it was so amazing. And of course, after you have these experiences and you feel, I mean, when I came back, I had a lot of injuries as well, and I was in a lot of pain, and I was like you, I was angry, I was beat off. Like, I chose to come back, and I'm in all this world of hurt. Like, why? I don't really understand. But then it really made me look at my perception of things in life and of everything. And I just saw things the way that it should be seen, I guess. And I really worked on myself a lot, and it does change you. So how, with your experience, how did you feel afterwards? How did it change you?
Well, at that time, I was only 18 years old or 19. I guess I wasn't very wise, or I'm still not very wise now.
We're
So,
always learning.
I didn't know what it was. I had never heard of near-death experience, but I didn't feel unsafe, and also I spent most of my life, I mean, in the past, disconnecting myself and the world. So I was I was quite dissociative. So it didn't really. I would say the after effect was slowly but gradual. It is still impacting me now, but
Yeah,
it wasn't like bang,
yeah,
sudden change or fundamental change. No, it didn't occur like that.
yeah. And that's what it was for me too. I did change my way of perceiving everything. It was kind of gradual as well, but it's such a beautiful process as well. And it's still, I don't know, it still blows me away every time I think about it. But it also gives me a lot of comfort knowing that what I thought, it's not like this for everybody, but for me, what I thought it was like passing over, for me, in my experience, it was beautiful. My close family was there. It's not something I feel I need to be afraid of. And for others, I feel like I came back from that experience to be able to share it with others as well, because the thought of death can be quite frightening to people. But my view is, obviously, it's not an ending. You'd move on to a different realm, or whatever you want to call it, and we are still connected with that, and it's just incredible. So look, thank you so much for sharing your journey. I think it's, like I said, it's important to get it out there, and I think a lot of people are interested in it as well. Can you just delve into sort of, did you speak about this to others when you first had the experience? Because it's something that some people might have also experienced. They might feel they need to hold that back in some way. Even I felt like that.
I did speak to a lady at the church I was attending at that time, and unfortunately, I wasn't greeted respectfully. So the disclosure was the experience of disclosing it was quite negative, and then I decided I don't bother to tell anyone anymore.
Yeah.
And so going back to your previous question, how did it impact me? And then I decided to leave church because I didn't know what it was. I didn't see a lot of things in that spiritual realm, if you like to call it. I just could not tolerate a lot of things that they made me to believe as the absolute truth. My gut feeling tells me no. I
Yeah.
could not tolerate that anymore. I had to leave. I'm not saying, Christians are back. I have some
Yeah.
beautiful friends who are Christians. That is just my personal experience. Yeah.
You come to a place, I guess, of learning to really honour yourself and your thoughts and your feelings and experiences. And everybody may have different ideas and feelings and experiences, all that kind of stuff, which makes us all interesting, right? Because we're all different in some way. But I think it's really just learning and understanding your true self and expressing yourself and being yourself and not afraid to, I guess, believe what you believe and those sorts of things. So what's your biggest insight from your experience?
Something that I cannot understand, something that I don't know that is magical and exciting is out there.
Yeah,
And I think that makes
absolutely.
me feel very curious about life, about, the whole universe. And I think that is enough for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me too. And I've been on this sort of quest. I mean, I've always been a very spiritual person and wanting to understand more, but specifically, I guess, since my accident, since my near-death experience, is to really explore why we're here, why me as a person here, why I came back, what is my purpose, and what am I to do with that? And I feel like it is to help others in some way. I'm still learning myself, but it's put me on a different path, which I'm loving, I've got to say. But yeah, look, it's just knowing that there's something out there that transcends time and space, and that it's something to explore. And it's definitely very interesting, and connecting with others who are, I guess, open to exploring that, or who understand that, or who have experienced it, is just, it's beautiful to be able to connect with like-minded people, I guess.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah. So what's, for some of the listeners out there who may have experienced a near-death experience, or who may know someone, how, is there any, I mean, I know this is probably a difficult question, but is there any way you can sort of ease a transition and navigate through the experience? And, I guess it's hard to comprehend for some people, or for most people.
Absolutely. It can be very challenging for a lot of people who experience it, because what they used to believe may no longer valid, and consider that they owe connections with the family, friends, places, event may be challenged,
Yeah.
or, like it could be a fundamental change for them. So
Yeah.
they're going through quite a challenging time.
Yeah.
And if a person have a negative near-death experience, they may be stressed, distressed, or frightened. They may be really struggling to cope.
Yeah.
So I would say, if this is the case, if you're struggling with the after effect of near-death experience, please talk to a psychologist or a registered counselor, or someone you can trust. And
Yeah.
if you are the lucky person get to hear these special stories, please don't be the jerk that who listens for the sake of looking smart when they reply. So
Yeah.
just be there, listen, validate the experiences and feelings, and find out, what does the near-death experience mean to them, and perhaps ask them, well, how would you like me to support you?
Yeah. Yeah. And like you said, it's such a profound, life-changing experience. And it's just, yeah, sometimes it's hard to put it all into words. Obviously we both shared our experiences, but there's so much more inside of that short, I guess, explanation that we gave. Look, I think it's such an important subject, like we said, and I'm really interested to see what kind of experiences others may have had. So if there are listeners out there who may have had their own experiences. I'd be really interested for you to reach out to me. Perhaps we can have a conversation and share our experiences and yeah, just learn from each other, I guess, and understand each other. So it's really good to be able to have someone else who has gone through an experience in whatever way that is, just so it helps you feel like, you know, you're not going crazy. It is true, and there are quite a lot of people out there who have experienced it. It's just not spoken about openly, I guess. So look, thank you so much for coming on the show and sharing your experience. I know it's quite a vulnerable thing to do, so I really appreciate you doing that. And look, I'd be interested in doing a follow-up podcast with you too down the track once we've got a bit more information that we can share with people about other people's experiences as well. So thank you so much for coming today.
You are very welcome. Take care. All the best.
Thank you. And for all the listeners out there, I hope you got a lot out of today. Comment below if you like. And yeah, let's get this out there a bit more, and we'll have more episodes up soon. Bye.